I found something in the Bitcoin charts which is extremely bullish and has never happened before in the history of Bitcoin. In the shorter term time frame, Bitcoin is showing some strength again, and in today's video I'm going to tell you exactly what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin over the coming days ahead. And we are going to have a look at the exchange volume, which is very interesting right now. On the weekly time frame, we are seeing something bullish on Bitcoin that we have never seen in the historical price action, and that is a golden cross. Guys, what is a golden cross? A golden cross is when the short-term moving average goes above the long-term moving average, which indicates that the trend is flipping. And I want to have a quick chat about that for every single one that still believes that Bitcoin is in a bear market right now, that we are still in an extended version of this big move to the downside, and that Bitcoin will still revisit these lows, if not go lower. Guys, this is basically evidence that most likely that's not the case. The chances of this happening is decreasing and decreasing, because right now the trend right here is definitely to the upside. The 200-week moving average, which is the yellow line, is being held as support. That is very important. As you can see, we had some resistance right here. We broke this level. This level is holding as support. Normally, this level has been acting as the bottom support of a bear market. So breaking below this level shocked a lot of investors, but right now we are getting that confidence back. And also a bullish cross or a golden cross with the 20-week moving average going above that clearly indicates that the trend is to the upside. And I'm going to show you an example from previous bull markets, okay? So if we were to change the 200-week moving average, which was the bottom during bull markets in the past, so that means that the shorter term moving average never went below it. So guys, let's say we would flip this one to a 100-week moving average, then you can see a little bit what it means for the trend, right? So here we have the green line is the 20-week moving average, and the yellow line is the 100-week moving average. Here you can see once the shorter term moving average goes above the long-term important moving average, Bitcoin is in an uptrend and just goes on in this bull market, right? It actually never went below the 20-week moving average, which was during this bull market kind of like the whole support. That was kind of crazy. Then when we come down, you can see that these lines are coming back to each other. That clearly shows that the momentum is fading on Bitcoin. Eventually we got a death cross that marked the bottom. That's quite funny. But then the moment we got a golden cross again, it did mark a local top in the beginning, but it also showed that we were in a bull market. So although short term the price made a correction back to the 100-week moving average right here, well, right now we are not even trading above. So there's still, in my opinion, a lot of space, a lot of room for higher price action. But we went into this uptrend. So this golden cross did show investors, hey, the trend is to the upside. And although we got a short-term correction, the trend was definitely to the upside. And the shorter-term moving average hasn't been crossing below the long-term moving average until we were already deep in the bear market, right? So when these two lines already converging, coming closer, you can already see that momentum is actually coming down. And yeah, when they cross, it's actually a bearish cross or death cross, also known as a death cross. And then you can see that we are far in this bear market. So I think, guys, that this is actually quite bullish, especially the 200-week moving average has been such an important metric for Bitcoin, because the previous bull market or the previous bear market in 2018, it has been functioning as the exact bottom. During the March 2020 crash, it has been functioning as the exact bottom, although we did have a wick below that. And in 2015, also after the bear market, the 200-week moving average has always been the exact bottom. And even though right now we broke below this level during this bear market, as of now we reclaimed this level, tested it as support, and the shorter term moving average is going above it, which showing us that the trend is clearly to the upside. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, if you feel entertained, if you learn something, if you like these videos, make sure to leave a thumbs up button. Guys, the goal of this channel is, of course, to become one of the bigger crypto YouTube channels, and that is only possible with your help. So guys, all the engagement is very much appreciated. Then guys, after the video that I've published yesterday, Bitcoin has seen a breakout and is actually looking very, very beautiful. So what we are seeing right here is we did have some declining resistance, but most importantly, we were looking at the 4-hour EMA ribbon, right? And Bitcoin managed to break above the 4-hour EMA ribbon very beautifully, and also on the stablecoin dominance we can see that we actually broke below the 4-hour EMA ribbon, and on both charts we backtested this level. So we backtested right here after the drop, we backtested this level as resistance, and on Bitcoin we backtested this level as support. So far it's holding. So guys, shorter term time frame, I think Bitcoin is looking bullish as long as we can hold the 4-hour EMA ribbon. When we have a look at Whale Portal, we can see some interesting signs. The exchange balance is extremely low, so not so much Bitcoin on exchanges. The funding rates coming up slightly, but still not at neutral levels, and they were coming from negative levels. That is quite interesting as well. Premium index is negative. The take buy sell ratio is slightly coming down. So all in all, quite interesting metrics. Yesterday, just when we broke above the 4-hour EMA ribbon, the metrics were looking actually quite bullish. Then we had this push, and right now they are bullish slightly to neutral, but I think as long as we can hold this 4-hour EMA ribbon, that would be nice, and Bitcoin can trend up and maybe try to really break that 31k at up to 31,300, because that is the major resistance right now above us. It is macro resistance, guys. So it is not going to be easy to break this, but when we are going to break it, it's going to come with a lot of volatility. And guys, I shared a thread over on Twitter talking about the exchange volume, which in my opinion is looking very interesting due to multiple reasons. And let me share it with you. First of all, of course, the biggest exchange is Binance. 24-hour volume on Binance on Bitcoin pairs is $9 billion US dollars. And the crazy thing, guys, is that 7.3 billion is from US dollar Tether, roughly 600 million is from Binance USD, which means that 8 billion of this 9 billion trading volume is all done with stablecoins, and only 1 billion is done with coin margins. And I think that's actually quite interesting, because I still use my Bitcoin as collateral, but as you can see from these statistics, not much people are doing that. Then another thing that I've noticed is that the 24-hour volume on BitGet was 3.3 billion US dollars, almost marking 30% of the trading volume that we are seeing on Bybit. That's kind of crazy, because BitGet is quite new in this space. Bybit, which is already long in this space, has a 24-hour volume of 2.3 or 2.4 billion, which is lower than that of BitGet and is less than 30% of the trading volume that we were seeing over on Binance. And that's also kind of crazy, because Bybit used to be one of the biggest players in the leverage markets, right? I mean, everyone was using Bybit, but as you can see, right now, these exchanges, it is a very dynamic situation. One exchange comes and then they stay on top, maybe in multiple months, maybe sometimes a year, maybe even longer. But then other exchanges come which might offer better services, which might have more trading pairs, which might have less complaints. Who knows, or they have different regulations, right? And then they are floating to the top. So it's a very dynamic situation. It's not that clear like, okay, we have one exchange that is the exchange to go. Because Binance is definitely also losing a lot of volume. I left Binance when it was introducing mandatory KYC in the Netherlands. But still, I thought it's quite interesting that BitGet has 30% of the Binance volume, while Bybit is actually lower. And I do understand it's mandatory KYC, this and that, but Bybit is actually a really good exchange, right? I would prefer using Bybit over Binance, but still Binance has more volume, which also has a mandatory KYC. Binance is also like that, right? So I thought this is just quite interesting, and I do think that Yeah, it's really smart for every single one to have multiple exchanges, because if one exchange suddenly comes with some regulations, or they come with some bad news, whatever, you at least have some other exchanges in place where you directly can flip to. I'm using multiple exchanges at this specific moment. I'm using Bybit and BitGet at the same time for spot trading and for margin trading, because it's also nice when you have your liquidity a little bit divided, right? You can open a long position on BitGet, I can open a long position on Bybit, have them open simultaneously. And I think those two exchanges are actually the best exchanges to use, but it also really depends on your location, because Bybit you cannot use on every single location right here on the planet. So if your location is restricted by Bybit, then you're kind of forced to use a exchange like BitGet, which doesn't have a mandatory KYC. So guys, this is what I'm looking at with Bitcoin. I expect Bitcoin to continue to go up unless we are losing that 4-hour EMA ribbon. So let's see what's going to happen in the next coming days. That was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, do make sure to smash up that like button, guys. Would be awesome if we would get over 100 likes on today's video. I want to wish every single one of you a beautiful day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video.